Hello everyone, welcome to my channel Rosa Technocrat. Today we are going to discuss about Fortiweb where we will be discussing about the log disk on Fortiweb. Okay, so how or why the idea of this video came into my mind? Recently I had an incident where uh, my customer disk usage was around full or was around 90 to 98%, and he was not able to store any logs in the disk. And he noticed it recently, but maybe the problem was going on since long. But as he noticed, we observed uh, he's not able to store any logs and disk usage is almost full. On FortiWeb, the default setting is like if the disk is going full, FortiWeb should override the logs and still continue logging the logs. But in this case, the device was not at all logging and it's not overwriting also. So from this incident, I got the idea of this video. So let's start. So what we will be talking, we will be talking about the log disk on FortiWeb, how the FortiWeb log disk works, what is the purpose of log disk, how you can verify the status of the log disk, and what are the different scenarios or causes of disk usage full, and what is stored in the log disk on Fortiweb. Similar to Fortiweb, FortiGate also has log disk, but now we are talking about Fortiweb log disk. Okay, so I had an issue where uh, the log disk was getting full like this, something you see on the dashboard, or something you will be seeing like this, and you will also get some messages if it is becoming 100%. So not available, log will lost, and please contact Fortinet. Or you will see on your dashboard something like where the disk utilization is going more than 80%. So we will be talking why this happens and what is this issue. Okay, and what should be the action if the log disk is full, or what we should do to the logs on the FortiWeb. First, what is a log disk? So, log disk is nothing but it is an hard disk and any ordinary disk on the FortiWeb device. But the purpose of this disk is specifically for logging all the logs on the FortiWeb, storing the logs basically. So log disk is only for storing the logs. There is no other purpose like any other configuration or any other settings are not stored on the log disk, and the log disk specific purpose is only to store the logs. This hard disk is dedicated for storing logs, and logs can be any logs, attack log, event log, security log, or any kind of logs that a FortiWeb generates. They can be stored on the log disk. And the whole and sole purpose of log disk is only for logging, not related to the configuration and settings of the FortiWeb. Uh, Log disk is a hardware specific feature or depends on which hardware model you are on, and if your hardware is having a log disk or not, that depends on the model. For example, if you do a get system status on your FortiWeb device, you will be able to see log hard disk not available. So these are the models where not available. Okay. Similarly, there can be some models where you have log hard disk available. So this applies, or this video, this thing applies if your device has got a log disk available. So if you do a get system status on your device and again do you can verify like log hard disk is available. Okay, so in this case, this device had a dedicated log disk available and this is not. But even on these devices, you can store the logs that will be on the memory or on the SAM disk as configuration. So no dedicated disk. Okay. So using get system status, you can verify that. Now, coming back, how disk logging is enabled. Okay. So on your Fortiweb using GUI, if you go under log and report and then global log settings. So global log settings, you have disk logging. So if you enable this disk logging, and you have to select the log level like information, severity, notification, what kind of level or up to which level you want to store the logs onto the disk, and what action to perform when log disk is full. So this is important. See, in our case the issue was related to it was not overwriting the logs, right? So overwriting the logs maybe depends on the configuration of this setting, what you have chosen here specifically. So you should take care, and if you want to verify what is the setting in your case or what your FortiWeb device will do if the log disk get full, please verify the global log disk settings for this. So if you enable this, then your disk logging will be enabled. So these are the options from the GUI. Similarly, you can do the same from CLI as well, where you can go under config log disk, set status enable. So this is the first enabling. Then what is the severity? You can select the log level and set disk full override. So what action to perform when your disk is full. Okay, so you should take care of it. It should be override, otherwise your FortiWeb will not override and the disk will stay on uh, full status. Use these commands to enable and configure recording of log messages to log to the local hard disk. Each log file. Okay, so this we know from the GUI and CLI commands, but now some generic information how the FortiWeb stores information. So each log file can have at most 51,000 logs. Okay, and each log file is limited to 4 KB of size. So that means after every 4K, the log file is rotated and a new log file is created. Thus, each log file size is limited to 200 MB. That means one file size can be 200 MB. So one log size can be 4 KB. Maximum number of logs can be 51 200. So 51 200, okay, multiply by 4, and this will come to around 200 MB. So the maximum file size or the log file size on FortiWeb will be 200, and after every 200 the file will be rotated and a new log file will be created. You can use snmp traps to notify when disk space exceeds 80%. So this you can set as a warning or you can set as an alert if your disk is going more than 80%. And similarly, you can generate reports based on log messages that you save to local hard disk, that we know, because if the logs are stored, then yes, generating the reports from the logs is easier, and you can generate. L- Okay, now you have enabled the disk logging, but still the logs will not be generated. Why? Because to generate the logs, you have to enable the logging for a specific category, like which categories you want to log. So you have to enable that logging or messages, different messages, you have to enable it. So you can do this from the CLI or GUI. So for GUI, if you go under log config and other log settings, you will see here enable attack log, enable event log, or ignore SSL error, whatever the different kind of logs. So let's say you have disk logging enabled, but these are disabled. Then also you will not get the logs because these kind of logs are disabled. So you, apart from enabling the disk logging, you should also enable these categories to generate the logs for these specific categories. Okay. Now, in my case, where the customer had an issue and he was not able to store the new logs, and disk was almost full. So I had to do a format of the log disk. So why? Because the disk is already full and overwrite was not enabled. So what you can do is we can format the log disk, and that will clear all the logs on the log disk. So you can use this command format log disk on Fortiweb. Don't worry, this will not remove any configuration or any settings, but it will remove all the logs that are stored on the Fortiweb log disk. So this command is specifically formats the log disk, and all the logs will be removed and the log disk size will become zero or free up to start logging again. But keep in mind, when you execute this command, the Fortiweb appliance displays the following message. What? This operation will clear all data on the log disk, as I explained. Take a few minutes according to the disk size. One more thing, this also requires an reboot of the device. So the important is reboot. So when you do a format log disk, it will also reboot device. So before performing a format log disk, you should take a maintenance window. So you are aware like your Fortiweb is going to be rebooted. So this is a warning. This operation deletes all locally stored logs and system will reboot after this command is executed. Okay. So using this, you can free up your space on the log disk, and this is not going to impact any other configuration or backup, but this is going to reboot your device. Okay. So be careful before doing format log disk. What are the different commands or different troubleshooting that we can utilize or we can use uh, to check the status of log disk? Like get system status, I told this tells you about the firmware version, the hardware model, and if your log disk is available or not. Then we have diaxis mount list. This will tell you the different partitions or the mounting partitions that are existing or that exists on FortiWeb. This gives you information about the hard disk, like what is the hard disk, different model, and other information, and it lists if there are multiple hard disks available. Okay, so let me show you these commands on live. Give me a second. Okay, so here we go. Let's start using all these commands on a live device and see how these commands helps you to identify or gain more information about disk on the device. If we do get system status, okay, what we get here important for us is log hard disk available or not available. Oops, I got a model which is not available. Maybe this will not help, but still let's try. Diaxis mount list. So what are the different partitions that I have? Because in my case there is no disk, dedicated disk, but still the device has the partition everything systems, right? So here my log directory is this. Logs are stored under where slash log. Okay. Then if we do diag hard log disk info, nothing because I don't have a log disk available. Diag hard disk list. It will list all the hard disk because I don't have the disks. Sorry, give me a minute. I'm missing something here. Hard. Yeah, because I don't have a hard disk, so no come hard disk, diag hard disk. Yeah, see. So if I do diag hard disk, it is giving me error because I don't have a hard disk here and the command is not available. Okay. Maybe next time I will try to get a same model. Okay. Then these are the different files that are uh, that exists on FortiWeb and stores important information about the logging or the index or the logs. Okay, so they are under where log, dlog indexed if your logs are properly indexed or not. Then this is any error related to the SQL process because there is a SQL index D running on Fortiweb. So any errors related to the MySQL process, and this is to check a brief history or like the logs per second for T-log. T-log is traffic log. So on Fortiweb there can be T-log, E-log, and A-log. So T-log is traffic log, E-log is event log, A-log is attack log. So there are three different kinds of logs: T-log, A-log, and E-log. Okay, so you can see here. Uh, if you want to know the logs rate per second and how many logs are sent or dropped, uh, or Fortiweb was able to forward or generate the logs, then you can use this fncat proc miglog tlog alog elog, whatever you want to know. And these three files are related to any errors in the indexing, errors in the MySQL process. Okay, and this you can use to verify. Sorry, I'm not highlighting. This can be used to verify if all the process related to the logging are running on the FortiWeb. So logd is a daemon, index D is a daemon for indexing, and mysqld is for writing these in the SQL database or in SQL syntax. And these files are the three files. Any errors related to these three process are inside these files. And these three commands are to check the statistics for number of logs generated, number of state of logs. Okay, so these you can use to verify that. So I was able to help my customer by using a format log disk, and then the space got freed up, and I was able to uh, start logging again, and the disk was normal. Okay, so you can let me know for any queries about logging on FortiWeb related to log disk or anything. Hope this helps. Thank you guys. Thank you so much for watching.